Yo, what's up? Good afternoon. Welcome to Huddle Up. We're your host, Grant Cohn, Mod Sports, Brandon Deutsch. And the Niners just won one of the most impressive games. It's one of the biggest wins in franchise history. I mean, I was watching the Cowboys last night, and I watched them beat the Raiders, and I'm thinking, what is a more defining win? The Cowboys beating the Raiders or the Niners beating the Cardinals? Or is it similar? Look, I don't mean to be sarcastic right off the bat. The Niners offense was good. They didn't put up a lot of yards, but they scored a lot of points. And it's exactly what George Kittle said they would do, right? He called the shot. They lost last week to the Rams. He came out to the podium and said, "Don't worry, Brock's coming back, Ricky's coming back. We're going to score 40." They did. That being said, it was the Cardinals who look like they're tanking, and 17 penalties help. But here's the question. Do the Niners have a Super Bowl offense based on what you saw this week?
Maj, you can go first.
I think it's pretty obvious that I wouldn't say that right now just because the Cardinals are not a good team. I want to see them play against a good team, even though these next 4 games we're not playing against. The Browns might be a good test because they have Myles Garrett and that guy's on crack. So, I mean, I'll say no for right now. I'll just say no because it looked good, but I don't really want to say anything because we played against the Arizona Cardinals and they are good at all. So no, but maybe soon, yes.
I actually disagree with Mosh here. I think they do have a Super Bowl offense, which is why John Lynch should be on the hot seat for not trading for an edge rusher. Their defense couldn't stop. I don't know if you guys have grandmas, but if your grandma has a walker in a retirement home, walking to get her lunch in the retirement home, they could not stop her. And this is not like, I'm sorry, like one edge rusher. Look at what the Eagles did. Jalen Phillips has made an astronomical difference where he made a USC legend, but has been bad this year. Dory Jackson looked decent and passed, against as a corner. He's been bad all year. Okay. One edge rusher completely shifted that defense. I'm not saying you had to go get Trey Hendrickson, but you couldn't give up a third or a fourth for Bradley Chubb. Anybody who can help. And look, I'll give him credit. Keon White has looked fine. Okay. But when you have 13 pressures, you have no sacks, and Jacoby Brissett gets an NFL record against you. Jacoby Brissett, who I like, he's better than Kyler Murray, but he's not an elite quarterback. I don't know. That's my take. Their defense is the worst in the league, up there, down there.
I don't know.
Okay,
I feel like
break it down like this. Do they have a Super Bowl offensive line?
No.
Do they have a Super Bowl?
Surprised me. Their line has surprised me.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I agree with you. Do they have a Super Bowl running game?
No.
Well, McCaffrey last game he looked really good.
Quarterbacks. They do have 2 good quarterbacks. They have the best tight end. They have the best receiving running back. I don't know what to say about Ricky Pearsall, but he's had some good games. They have some talent at wide receiver. They do have upside on offense. And again, I agree with Brandon here. There's enough talent and upside that they probably should have bet on themselves. Because which team, again, are you so scared of? What's the best team in football? The Rams? You beat them. I don't understand why
the Eagles aren't even that good.
Yeah.
Okay, but you beat the Rams with Fred Warner, and Fred Warner's an irreplaceable player. You can't just replace a Fred Warner. That's why I think when Nick Bosa went down, I was like, okay, you know what? At least we still have Fred Warner. But right when Fred Warner went down, I was like, okay, kind of ship the season off. And Brennan, I know you're like, okay, if we got Jalen Phillips, that would have helped. It would have helped, but I don't think that would make us a Super Bowl contender whatsoever. He's a good player, but I don't think that makes
hold on, Maj. You said yourself, if Fred Warner hadn't gone down and it had just been Bosa, you would have wanted the Niners to trade for Jalen Phillips, right?
Yes, because I think Fred Warner, yeah.
So what I think so interesting about that is Fred Warner is irreplaceable. He's 1-on-1 Hall of Famer. But Tatum Bethune was good. Tatum Bethune was playing a starting. Yes. But then Curtis Robinson came in and he was good. Really, the issue is not middle linebacker on the 49ers. The issue is defensive end. And if this offense can really put up 30 to 40 points against most teams, then all you really need is a pass rush because you're going to be playing with a lead, and this defense can stop the run well enough. It's too bad. I mean, they could have traded a second or a third for a player in his 20s who would be here for a few years that is good, a player who was drafted in round 1 and, was worth less because they're midway through their career. Instead, they're going to hold on to their pick so they can draft maybe a good player. And here's the thing, they're going to need to draft a defensive lineman because Bosa's hurt. You don't know when he's coming back. Same with Michael Williams. And they suck at drafting defensive linemen. That's the thing.
All-time bad at drafting that. And also,
all-time bad at drafting that position.
If they had made the Quinnen Williams trade and traded their first next year, I would have been happy as a Niners fan because Quinnen Williams is on the roster for the next few years. The problem then becomes a cap issue, right? Because Quinnen Williams signed that massive extension already. You're paying Brock Purdy next year. You'd probably have to trade Ayuk to figure something out. I mean, they have smart people in the building, the Niners. They know how to handle money. That's not their problem. They're some of the best in the league. I'll give them credit in handling cap space. They're not like, Mickey Loomis and the Saints who are always in cap hell every year before the season, and they're always bad. But like, if they had traded a first for a player like Quinnen Williams, Trey Hendrickson, it's different because he's not on contract next year. Quinnen Williams is on contract the next 3 years. Like, I'd have been fine with that. It's not like if they're not going to draft an offensive tackle to replace Trent in the first round, why not trade a first for a Quinnen Williams or somebody? Like, I don't get that. Grant's right. Like, will this team win the Super Bowl? No, it's obvious. It's apparent right now. Could they have won the Super Bowl if they had traded for a Quinnen Williams or even a Bradley Chubb and maybe some other edge rusher that was a third or fourth round? Maybe 10% chance, because when you have Kyle Shanahan and you have this offense that can put up 40 on any given night, you have a chance. They've already beaten the Rams. They could beat the Eagles. Like,
also, my point is, like, if you trade for Jalen Phillips or Jermaine Johnson or Quinnen Williams, that's not a 2025 move solely. That actually gives you a better chance to win in 2026 because chances are you're going to blow that pick. And even if you don't blow that pick, that guy probably won't be good until 2028. So I think trading for Quinnen Williams increases your odds of winning in 2026 if that's what you're playing for.
I think the Niners, Quinnen Williams was the only guy I would have wanted them to trade for. Jermaine Johnson, I don't think, like, Quinnen Williams is the type of guy you add to the team. He has immediate impact, and he's a guy that, of course, he has more years on his contract. But I don't know. I don't like Jermaine Johnson or Jalen Phillips. If we would have got those guys, I wouldn't have been like, oh my gosh, we're so back. If we got Quinnen Williams, though, that's another story, because even the 49ers, we suck at drafting in the first round. Quinnen Williams, an all-pro. That's actually one move I felt like the 49ers should have made, but we didn't. So
the thing is with Phillips is he's not under contract next season. So that's why John Lynch didn't want to give up that third-round pick. Jermaine Johnson is under contract next season, I believe, unless I'm mistaken.
That would have been better.
Yeah, but they wanted a second. And I get why Lynch doesn't do that, because Johnson's not worth a second. But they could have gotten Quinnen Williams for one first. That's kind of a bargain in like a second or a third. Like, for a player of that caliber that can single-handedly stop the run, imagine at full strength next season, Quinnen Williams, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and their defense. And I mentioned Nick Bosa because they don't have any other good edge rushers or linemen pretty much. So
Alfred Collins.
Kyle Shanahan was asked about a month ago, like, hey, are you going to have the same approach at the deadline this year that you had in 2019? And he was like, no, not necessarily. In 2019, we knew we had a Super Bowl defense. And so that's why they went and traded for Emmanuel Sanders, because, as long as we have this incredible top 5 unit, why don't we make sure the other side of the ball isn't a liability? Which, I mean, they're starting wide receivers like Dante Pettis and Marquise Goodwin. So I feel like that same logic applies now. If you really think you have a Super Bowl offense, which is what George Kittle said, you have a special quarterback plus a backup who can play almost as well, if not better, plus Christian still healthy and George and all, like, why not bring your defense up to respectable level? You don't have to have a top 10 defense. You just need to have like a top, 20 defense. And it's hard to say that this defense as currently constructed can come close to that because they can't pressure a quarterback. They can defend the run well enough, but if you let any NFL quarterback sit back there and have time, I mean, they're all going to look great. All of them, even guys like Jacoby Brissett.
I agree.
I have no further comment, Your Honor.
Okay, how about this? What is the key to the Niners offense? I mean, we've seen so many different iterations of this offense, people in, people out, different quarterbacks. If you had to say the absolute key, one person who is the most indispensable, who is it?
Brock Purdy.
Words out of my mouth.
Come on.
No, I think it's McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey, like, actually, it's between
think
two. I think
Kittle.
it's between
George
Kittle and McCaffrey. Yeah.
Look at the offense. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. We have to stop thinking about it. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback in the Kyle Shanahan system. When George Kittle is out there with Christian McCaffrey, they could put up 40. The only difference is Brock Purdy will take those risks to throw the ball downfield, which a lot of times don't work out, right? But like he'll throw like 50 balls. Like it's like that one to Jennings. He couldn't even see over the lineman. He just threw that up there and hoped. And thankfully,
Terrible
Jamal Jennings
throw.
caught that. But the one against the Cardinals where he's running out of bounds, there's good and bad. You'll get more explosive plays and you'll be able to throw the ball downfield. But that also doesn't work when Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle aren't out there, because we saw Brock Purdy last year without those guys and he tried to do the same stuff and he threw interceptions. So like, to me, it's George Kittle, because when he's out there, yes, McCaffrey's great, but he can't run the football like he used to. Kittle is a security blanket. He's always open every play. He doesn't drop the ball. He's the best blocking tight end in the league. And in my opinion, he's the best tight end in football over the last decade. I know Travis Kelce catches passes at a high level. He can't block like George Kittle. And it's also, George Kittle didn't have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, right? So again, I think it's George Kittle personally.
Or Andy Reid. No offense to
I love Christian McCaffrey. Trust me, all-time great guy, all-time great player. Like, we know that. It doesn't take a genius to figure out his impact. But George Kittle right now is in the prime of his career. He is their best player.
Yeah.
I agree. And you said something very interesting that I want to come. I completely agree with Kittle being the answer. You said verbatim, it doesn't matter who plays quarterback for the 49ers. And I think that's so true. And I think that is a testament to Kyle Shanahan and their system and their culture and what they've built. But I think it's interesting that he doesn't seem to understand that. And the organization doesn't seem to get it. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons we've learned this year, is that the people who can't do well on this team at quarterback are probably, it's a smaller number than the quarterbacks who can. I mean, name me a starting quarterback who wouldn't do well on this team. I mean,
Grant, I saw your tweet. Justin Fields,
Fields.
I don't think.
Trey Lance. Anthony Richardson. But like,
Yeah.
I bet you Geno would do well on this team.
No. Geno sucks, man. He's so
He does.
bad.
I think Geno sucks, but I think Geno would do well on this team.
I agree with Grant, because like, he'd throw interceptions, but you'd get a lot.
He has George Kittle.
Plays. Yeah, you get a lot of.
Hey, but he has Brock Bowers on the Raiders, and they still suck.
Yeah, but he doesn't have.
That's not his fault. That's Chip Kelly's fault.
Yeah. Like, I think CJ Stroud would be great on the Niners. I think Bryce Young would be great. I'm not saying they'd be better than Purdy, but I mean, look at how good Mac Jones has been on the Niners. CJ Stroud would be good. Bryce Young would be good. 25 starting quarterbacks, maybe 30, and maybe 5 backups. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo objectively is and always has been an NFL backup quarterback, but on the Niners, people thought he was top 10 for a minute, and he wasn't. So I don't even like Kyle Shanahan as a coach. I mean, I think he has so many drawbacks, but you got to give him credit. One of the things he brings to the table is it matters who plays tight end for him. It matters who plays running back for him, but it really doesn't matter who plays quarterback for him. Unless it's CJ Beathard, then it matters.
Or it's the one guy
Allen
that came
really bad too. Allen was really bad.
You can't have complete stiffs, but if you have a legitimate starting quarterback, it'll be all right.
Or who's that one guy, Josh Johnson? He was really bad too.
You can't take a third-string quarterback and make it work. It can't be Josh Dobbs.
By the way, the 49ers typically play their annual NFC Championship game, or was until last season, the day before my birthday, typically on January 31st is my birthday. They typically play January 30th. That game against the Eagles was on January 30th. And it ruined my birthday by far. I mean, it was just like, it was in that game, by the way, I know this is a little off topic, but that the Devontae Smith out of bounds, like, why isn't Kyle Shanahan? I'm still mad that Kyle did not challenge that call, because that completely changes the game. That is when the defensive line of the 49ers put fear into the heart of every other quarterback that was playing against them. There is no fear about the 49ers right now.
Bill Kennedy says, do you think Brock will finish the season?
He has to.
He should. If he doesn't finish the season, then that's not a good look for him or the organization. He has to.
There's a lot of
That's the thing with the contract they gave him. Like, it's not enough to be good here and there. He has to finish the season and be available. Like, If I were to tell you Brock Purdy's going to play 14 games next year, would that be enough?
No.
Yeah,
I want him to
think
play the whole season.
he's not
It's like,
going to
dude,
ever again.
if you play 12 or 13 or 14 games, that's taking that 53 million a year and making it more like 65 considering the number of games you play. I'm just saying.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll also put a counterpoint, right? Like, I think Brock is also a better quarterback than 3 or 4 players making similar amount of money. Trevor Lawrence, Tua, Jordan Love, and
He clears
Jordan.
Jordan Love.
I think he's better than Jordan Love. I mean, you could make an argument
Yes.
there, but there's
No.
if there are Brock is good. I'm not trying to say he's a bad quarterback, but the fact of the matter is he's never been healthy throughout his NFL career. He is small, which is a problem. He is small for an NFL quarterback. He is 6 feet tall. That's not small as a human being, but it is small as an NFL quarterback. And the toe problem, like now he can't run like he used to. He's not the same player.
No, he's 100% still injured too. That Cardinals game,
Yeah.
the Josh
Yeah.
Sweat sack. I think old Purdy's running away from the Sweat.
But
Sweat got to him
Grant
like
will
this.
tell you this. Grant will agree with me on this. He's also an avid competitor. He hears what people say about him. So he is going to want to play the rest of the season to try and prove people, which means he'll throw the interceptions because he'll try and throw the ball 70 yards and do that dumb stuff that he does sometimes that should have been picked off that first game, the Jake Tonjes one. That was a horrible throw, by the way.
But I'm just saying, like we just said, it doesn't matter who plays quarterback in this team and that most starting quarterbacks would play well in the system on this team. So we've only seen Brock Purdy on this team in this system. It's possible that if he played for the Houston Texans, it wouldn't look so good. So I think that's something to keep in mind for the 49ers in the future. But look,